Statistically speaking, some investigators have trouble with statistics. So let's talk to a cardiologist, statistician. What a wonderful combination for this topic. It's David Capodanno, who is an MD, and he's a University of Catania, Italy employee. And the question that I have for you is, with all of the investigators and all the papers that are out there, how big of a problem is statistical analysis for most investigators?
It's a huge problem, I would say, and it's quite obvious that the statistical part is the most difficult part of a paper, and once you get your work done, of course, you are eager to write the manuscript, but however, you have one last obstacle, which is to put everything correctly in your paper, and of course, you want to please the reviewer of your paper, but sometimes, especially for high-rank journal, you have also to please the statistical reviewer, who is a person, of course, want to help you in constructing a good paper, but sometimes it may be, of course, a little bit irritated by some common pitfalls and mistakes that you can easily avoid.
So let's talk about the mistakes and how to avoid them.
Well, the point is that many mistakes may occur during different stages of the preparation of a manuscript. So you can have errors at the study design level, you can have some problems at the moment in which you analyze the data, you can have problems when you document the data, when you present them, and when you interpret them. So each of these stages has some common pitfall and mistakes, and of course you must be aware of that. And you don't need to be a statistician, but at the very least, you have to be aware of what the pitfalls may be in order to address them.
Is one of the problems the fact that they don't look at the issues right up front with the design of the study?
Absolutely, yes. I think this is the most crucial moment in which, of course, when you design the study, you are planning everything correctly. If you do this work carefully, you will spend a long time in order to have your sample size assumption, in order to decide and define what is your blinding in case of randomized clinical trials. But even in case of registries and observational studies, you have to prepare everything very carefully. Then, if you do this work earlier in the preparation of a manuscript, we will go very smoothly in the face of the drafting of the paper, definitely, yes.
What were some of the questions you got asked yesterday during this presentation, standing room only?
Well, people were very interested in the use of statistics tests for the appropriate data set that they have. And I think this is a crucial point, because sometimes you make some minor mistake that, of course, you don't think about, but for a statistician, for an expert, are a really crucial point. For example, when you have to paired data set, you have to use a paired test. When you have a normally distributed population, you have to use a parametric test, otherwise you have to use a non-parametric test. So there are some minor points, but we had also a great discussion, I think, about the methods of adjusting the data for observational registries, so how to manage the baseline confounders with techniques such as the multivariate analysis or the propensity score, which are very nice to understand. And we also talked about some pitfall in subgroup analysis, so you have to deal with the problems such as the type 1 or 2 error, which means the probability of a false positive error or a false negative error. So we had some discussion about this, and the key message was that you have to be fair and honest when you judge your result. Do not overestimate the weight of your result, and I'm sure that the reviewer will appreciate a fair and balanced message at the end.
What does the reviewer want to see? Besides just the paper itself, is there anything else that they want to know about how you analyze the data?
Well, the point is that you have a great occasion to say what you have done, and this occasion is the statistical analysis paragraph, basically. And this has to be as much detailed as possible, and it has to be very complete, but not too difficult. It has not to refer to obscure methods. Everything should be absolutely reproducible, and this is something that the reviewer is absolutely aware of. When you are trying to hide something that you did, you are not in the good direction. So the use of a statement like I used this test where appropriate is not enough. You have to write exactly where did you employ this test. And so basically the point is simply to state what you have done. Sometimes you do something very simple and that's sufficient. Sometimes you do something more complicated, so you need more wording and explanation. And of course what is important is to do not hide the data, which is something that the reviewer don't like, and to avoid the overinterpretation of your result. This is absolutely important.
Yeah, the classic data dredging, where you try and dig a little bit too deep into the pile and you just end up burying yourself.
Yeah, it's like, for example, when you perform subgroup analysis, the higher the number of subgroups you analyze, the higher the chance that one will be positive, not because really positive, but for play of chance. So it's like you are shopping for a statistically significant result, and you omit what is not significant, and you accept only what is significant and put it on the paper. But it is quite easy for the reviewer to understand what is going on in that direction, and so you have to be aware of how to avoid this mistake, adjust for multiple comparisons. There are several methods that you can use in order to test the validity of your result. And I think that as an interventional cardiologist, when you have a new device or something like that, you want to know everything about it. And in the same situation, I would say that you have to keep in mind one statistical software, try to learn it. You have not to learn everything about statistics, but to study what you need for the paper and assist your statistician or do it by yourself. Why not?
What's funny is it wasn't just standing remotely yesterday, but they repeated this particular class several times at EuroPCR, and each time a tremendous number of people were very interested in journal writing and making sure that you get published. And statistically speaking, Dr. Capodanno, we would like to thank you very much for joining us. And I'm Rick McGuire, CardioSource World News.